Hello, 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 everyone. And this is the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast, a safe space created to guide women living with chronic illness to uncover their purpose by doing what they were meant to do, move in power by advocating for themselves in all aspects of life, and accelerate their growth in health, career, and business. You will learn how to stop hiding and start thriving. We will inspire, educate, and motivate you as we show you Inflamed Sisters thrive together always. It is so lovely to have you back. And this is your host, Katina Morrison. I am a corporate nurse and chronic illness coach, and now a podcaster who works specifically with educating women with chronic illnesses that you can stop hiding and start thriving. And guess what? My lovely guest today is the amazing LaKeasha Williams. Welcome, LaKeasha.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would love for you to please introduce yourself to us. Tell us your name and what do you do, sis?
So, LaKeisha sounds like I'm in trouble. So, we're going to go with Keisha. Um,
Yes, thank you.
Happily 39 years old, married. I'm somebody's mama. Um, on a day to day, I'm a VP at one of the largest financial institutions in the world. And at night, I do all those things, including weightlifting, but I also battle lupus, specifically SLE. We'll talk about how I've battled and managed my lupus and what all that entails. But really, just fun loving old me. Face card is, I think I'm pretty cute. But the other side to that is there's been a lot going on with me that has shaped me into the woman I am. And I love to share that.
Yes, and that's why I am so excited to have you. You and I came across and we were introduced by a mutual friend and
Yes.
inflamed sister thriving, Ashley Nicole, the RA Warrior Fitness. I had to
Love
plug my friend.
Ashley. You have to plug your friend. Have to,
Oh,
especially because it's Ashley.
yes, there's no RA sister like her. But I am so excited that she introduced me to you because you have such an amazing
Yes.
story and you and her actually have some things in common. One of the things is, could you tell me, for example, about your lupus journey and then how that led into a new journey recently? So tell me about it.
Yeah. So lupus, I got diagnosed in 2008. I always had issues with anemia, and every time I would go to the doctor, that was the thing that they would say, it's your anemia, and I started having this influx of symptoms that didn't really make sense to me or anyone else. So I finally had a hematologist say, have you ever had a panel, to test for autoimmune diseases? Because this just doesn't fit the profile for just anemia. So it started there. I was diagnosed probably within maybe a couple weeks. They think that I probably battled this as early as my teenage years, just because of some of the historical data that I was able to provide. Um, what that did was it sat me down a lot. I know in high school I would have these instances where I would pass out. We couldn't figure out why. I would be in pain. We couldn't figure out why. As I got older, I noticed that I was starting to have issues with things that were essentially easier for me at some point. Um, and then once we figured out how to manage it through a holistic approach, I made it very clear to my rheumatologist, I don't want to be on a lot of meds. So we started counting back from one. I think the highest I've been on was maybe 11 medications, took that down as far as three. So definitely some progression there. Yeah. And then once I got that under control, my sister of all, because gotta love a sister, right? Um, Wanted to introduce me into her world of bodybuilding. And I let her. I let her take me there. But I used it to the degree that the more I stayed in the gym, monitored what I ate, because you have to do that, the better I felt. So I found myself in remission about 2 years ago, which was like the best feeling ever, where I was on no medication. And then just recently, within the last 18 to 24 months, found myself where I had to go back on meds, to keep myself functioning properly or normally, whatever your normal is. But Still didn't stop me from bodybuilding. It sat me down a couple times. Like I had to take it easy in the gym. I had a really good coach that understood it. What he didn't understood, he asked questions. We got clarification,
Mhm.
and controlled a lot of it with diet when I couldn't, pick up a weight. So I'm totally grateful for that.
So we went from a lupus diagnosis in
Eight.
2008 to now a winning
You
bodybuilder.
better
Yes.
tell them she was
Yes.
first place.
Okay. Don't allow your chronic illness, even if it is lupus, to stop you from achieving goals that no one expected you could, because anything is possible. My sis, Keisha, tells us that. Keisha, tell me, what was your experience like walking across that stage as a first place winner?
Oh man, that and I tear up. See, it's happening. That was the hardest prep I had ever done. Because I literally stayed in a flare from my last show in December until probably a couple weeks before I got on stage. So I had a lot to prove to myself that it didn't stop me. And we kept wondering, like, are we going to have to pull the trigger? Like, is this going to be the time that I don't make it? And honestly, probably about 4 weeks before I got on stage, my rheumatologist called me in and said, I don't want you doing this. Your liver enzymes are sky high. So I really panicked. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do we manage this? Because you don't want to not take into consideration what a paid professional is telling you. But
Mhm.
then there was also the case that I knew me. I knew that every time I walked in that gym, no matter how hard I went or how modified my workout was, I felt better. So I had to pay attention to both things. Okay, I'm not on meds because one of my meds was essentially making me worse, but also this is the thing that's keeping me in motion. Like I'm not stiff when I get up in the morning. So I have to figure out how to make this work. But when they called my name and put that medal around my neck, it was worth it. It was all worth it. And I would do it again if I could, and I plan on it. Just, need to do the right things and make sure we're completely healthy before we start again. But there was something about this show that I didn't want to stop when I had been so close. I mean, like I said, it was hard. I remember having a full out meltdown with my coach. Like, I'm tired of being sick. Like, I'm tired of feeling like this. And, he was just like, we're going to do it the safe way. So if he says you're not doing it, we're not doing it. I'm like, okay, that's what you say. But I know my body. But then the other side to that was on the days I couldn't get up, because it's important to recognize that you're not going to be 100% with this disease, and you have to listen to it. I knew that I could manage my diet. If I couldn't get in the gym, I could eat what I was supposed to, and I did. I knew
Mhm.
that when I got up that I needed to, stretch. I needed to make my body move some kind of way so that it wouldn't get worse. And I did that. And regardless of how big or how small the show is, that was my message back to me, that I persevered regardless. And I've had a lot of stories where I've had to, but this was the thing that I chose, and I was going to see it through regardless.
Awesome. And as one of my dear RA sisters, Colleen, also known as at Mad for Many, says movement is medicine. And
I
keeping your
agree.
body moving is what helped you to be able to do what you had to do to get it done. And you did, sis. And you're doing well. I can see.
I feel
Um,
good.
Awesome. I'm so proud of you and what you accomplished in not only traveling the journey of being diagnosed with lupus, but overcoming it and finding something that fulfills you, that you was unexpected. Thank your sister for us, that you decided to take this journey and show us that it is possible
So
to
I've not
accomplish it.
gotten to the thank you part to her yet, because I mean I love her to pieces. She's the baby of the family. But she came to my show and I was just like, I cannot believe I keep letting you talk me into this. And we go from show to show, and she's like, you want to do this one next? I'm like, girl, I don't even know if I can stand up. Like I need to go eat. But I would, if it came to the point where I finally got to share the stage with her, I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Awesome. And so that means Keisha's baby sister, you have a thank you coming, and it was because this inflamed sister thrive and told her to do it. No, I'm but this is the thing. I'm proud of you, but there is another accomplishment that you reached that we
It
cannot
did.
skim over that actually happened the same day of the competition.
It
I would,
did.
yes, what was it and why did you choose attending one over the other?
I finished like last December. So it spanned across two shows. So my last show in December, 2 days before I got on stage, I submitted my final assignment and completed my master's degree in labor and employment law. So, as you know, with COVID and graduations, they push everything to the spring. And my show for this past May and my graduation were on the same day. And I had to make a choice of which stage I was going to walk across. Competition stage felt like it made more sense to me just
Mhm.
because of what all I had overcome. And both were equally as important. And I don't think I chose wrong in any element, but it was the fact that that disease didn't stop me. I could go, I'm going back to school because I want my Juris Doctorate, but I know I'll participate in that thing. But I didn't know how much more bandwidth I had for, the competition stage. And I didn't want to miss that opportunity, especially having so many people pour into me, having our ancillary training. We have an aesthetic massage therapist that helps us with recovery. I have my coach. I had my work family that was like, you can do it. We're going to eat this pizza, but you can do that thing. My family believed in me. I had people that just wanted to follow my journey. And I was like, for what? It's just me. So I felt like the answer to myself, but also my gratitude to them was to say, okay, y'all, we did this. Like, this is the culmination of all of our hard work. And this is what it looks like. It looked like a first place win. But as far as graduation was concerned, I completed my program with a 3.9 GPA. So when I do something, I do it. Uh, but I also knew that there was going to be an opportunity for me to see, the school graduation stage again, because I like learning. Even at my age, I like going to school. So I just felt like I need to put the clear heels on instead of the Louboutins and walk it out.
Awesome. Ooh, yes.
Cause
She
I,
said
cause
that.
I did buy them. I did buy them.
Oh, she said the heels, not the oh, girl. I love it. I love this is what I want you to know. I love what you have accomplished. I love
Thank
what you
you.
are doing. Y'all, we have an attorney in the family
She's
coming
coming.
coming very soon. So yes, sis, go on do that because every family needs at least one attorney, one a doctor, and one nurse. We got a nurse. We need a doctor now.
You
And
know,
our attorney is coming.
and it's so funny because I'm not an attorney, but nobody uses my education like my daughter. My daughter on her job can find the injustice with labor and employment, and I'm gonna call my mom. And so I have become her dial in resource when she feels like there might be discrimination, there might be a pay issue. She calls her mama first. So I told her, I said, let me practice because we need to get paid for this. So
Exactly.
I
You
am
better treat
deciding,
her right. Okay. Her
yes,
mother knows the
I
law.
know the law. So definitely
Nice.
taking the LSATs, definitely applying to some law schools to get that JD in labor and employment. So I'm excited about it.
You should be, and you're going to accomplish this. It accomplish it. It is as good as done, sis. You have that doctorate. You are about to be our attorney. And not only is that, I love the field that you're going in because labor, the focus that you're in also would also impact people with chronic illnesses as well. Labor law.
Yes, there is a strong element of discrimination that can occur when you have an illness that seems to be invisible to some degree. There are a lot of workplace faux pas that happen, a lot of things that can be said, a lot of accommodations that aren't made um, in regards to it. So there's a house for it. There is a house for it, and I plan on planting my feet right inside it because one, I'm affected, but two, I've seen it firsthand. Even with myself. So I can't wait to get to the other side of it and see if we can champion some equal opportunity for the folks that have these illnesses that don't look like other illnesses.
I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you about an amazing company that I have come in contact with that aligns my purpose and my passion, serving the chronic illness community and specifically women with autoimmune diseases like me. Well, that company is DrugView. DrugView helps patients with autoimmune disease gain full control of their health journey. For free, they consolidate your medical records to a streamlined portal, match you to clinical trials, and identify better treatment options for you. For free, yes, for free, they will consolidate your medical records to a streamlined portal, match you to clinical trials, and identify better treatment options. You get a secure platform for your medical records in one place, a tool that matches you to clinical trials based on your unique health history, and a community where you can discover outcomes and side effects of medications from patients with similar health histories and diagnoses just like you. I encourage you to sign up for this in the link associated with this podcast so that you can benefit from these amazing resources. Got it. Now, you touched on something, and I want to see if we're able to just put our toes in it just a little bit. You said you personally experienced
I
it as
have.
someone with
I
living with
have.
chronic illness like lupus.
I have had horrible bosses that you don't look sick, you know, or are you sure that's what's wrong with you, or quantifying my illness. Well, there's somebody down the hall in a wheelchair, so obviously you aren't that sick. Things that have been made that way. And it was at a time where I didn't know anything about the ADA. I had no idea how many employees it took in a certain type of work center before a place is even ADA compliant. And I just learned that over the scope of the last year or so. But, remembering how I asked for time off because there were things I couldn't do, and having it denied, not knowing about FMLA, things that I was entitled to that I was essentially denied, up front. But now I do know. And I can only imagine how many people don't know and how many people are on the receiving end of being mistreated because they have an illness that someone can't see or feels like they need to know more about and they don't. You can keep that private without having your managers or human resources or whomever too deep into your medical profile. There's necessary documentation that you need, and that's as far as it has to go. I wish I would have known that 10 years ago.
Wow. Okay, sis. Now you have just educated me and us. I know that there were laws, but also the fact that these things should actually be made aware to people. Oftentimes, they're hidden secrets that you have these rights.
Hmm.
So, and most of us aren't going to go out and do the research ourselves, but if you are a chronic illness warrior, if you're a person living with invisible illness like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, myasthenia gravis, which is June is myasthenia gravis month, awareness month.
Hmm.
You need to know what your rights are. Do not allow someone to take away your opportunity to provide for yourself in the manner that you choose and that you're capable of doing, because they are trying to take that away from you without giving you the knowledge of the laws and the rights that you have. You have the
Hmm.
right to care for yourself, and these laws were made so that people could stay gainfully employed to be able to take care of themselves, and someone doesn't use their illness against them.
Yes.
So, wow. Okay, girl. I like it. I like it. I love where we're going with
It's
this.
it's
And I
good
might be
stuff.
calling you too because, a sister is employed as well, as a corporate nurse. And thankfully, I'm going to be honest with you. I have had very supportive managers, and the companies I've worked for have been extremely supportive. Whenever I needed time away, I work from home. If you need to lay down, Katina, go ahead and lay down. If you have doctor's appointments, even if I need to care for my mom, I have never had a problem in that area. But I've had friends and relatives that have actually had to go on disability and
Hmm.
retire from work because their job was not willing to be flexible for their illness, or to allow them to utilize things as efficiently, or in the manner that they should, like FMLA and things. So, and it's not about allowing; it's a right,
It
right?
is a right. And I was shocked to find out there are cases that an employer can deny your request. And I was like, wait, what? If it doesn't prove to be beneficial, or it's more costly to the business to maintain, they have the right to say, we can't do this. And I'm like, that's not fair. I've had some managers, one in particular, before I came to the role that I'm in, I think his sister had lupus or something similar, and I never had to ask. I never had to ask if I didn't feel well. He could even tell me like, "Hey, pressure's going to change. Are you going to be okay today?" Or, "Work from home today." But how often are you going to get a manager where they have someone personally affected and they know to do that for you? I had another manager that she could tell, we could just be talking. She's like, "You sound run down. I want you to rest." And then I have some that just want to tap into the workhorse and was like, "Okay, so at 5 o'clock, yeah, I want you to log off and go up." At 5 o'clock, I'm already exhausted. But thank you though. So it's a blessing that I've had these good managers, but it taught me to be a good manager. So my employees don't have to ask me twice. I don't care what it is, depression, fibromyalgia, lupus, whatever. If it requires you to take time for yourself, I usually honor that, unless it has to be something really serious for me to say no, and that never happens.
Awesome. See, and that's the beautiful thing, is these experiences that we go through actually teach us to be better people, to be better employers, to actually express the compassion for others. But it also helps us to recognize, like you said, the difference between a good manager and a bad one.
Hmm.
And I've experienced that as well, being someone who has managed employees, is that you have to have a measure of compassion. These companies invest so much into training people, only to run off the qualified employee just because of their illness. That's your loss, actually,
It
because
is.
you have lost a lot of money training someone to be the best employee, only for that employee to go somewhere else and be able to benefit that company because they're willing to understand them. So, for all of my employers out there,
Do
you
better.
do better, please. And Keisha is about to make sure you do that very soon. Okay.
I
The
have
lupus warrior.
the
Okay.
warrior. I had the best professors at Tulane that this was their soapbox. And so we could have these brainstorming sessions and talk about what this looks like. And some of them would get just as mad as I was. And I was like, this is where I want to be. And then I realized after I graduated that this is really where I want to be. I want to be front and center to say, no, that's not how we're going to treat people, period. Times are changing. When they thought I had lupus as a child, of course it wasn't something that was on the radar. So nobody knew to look for it. It wasn't until I was 30 that they said, "Oh, yeah, that's what this is." So I'm only 39, at this point. So coming into my 30s with a disease that I probably had when I was a kid, I'm the face of what's next. I'm the next boss. I don't want to go into this blind, ignorant and not know how to take care of people, because I think the folks that are a little older that sit in certain leadership positions, this isn't on their scope. I'm going to put it on your scope. I'm going to put it right there in your face as often as I can. And then I'm going to make
Hmm.
sure that we do the right thing by these folks, because they're humans too. They're just humans with different abilities.
Exactly. And servant leadership is what this generation requires. It
Yes.
appears that the gone are the time that the focus was on only meeting the needs of the people up top. Now, the employees, and especially with the mass exodus that has recently taken place as a result of the current panorama, as they call it, a
The
good friend of
panorama.
mine. Because of that, they are requiring servant leadership, that you really meet the needs of the people who work under you, because the success of the company is not determined by the person at the top. It's
No,
determined by the people who fall under them, and many times the people who are very much so at the bottom of it.
the very
So
bottom.
Yeah, the very bottom is what's holding the top up. So when you have a workforce that also includes people who live with invisible diseases, we need to make sure that people are respected and their conditions are respected as well, and that we
Mhm.
understand that they're still contributing members of society and of the employment area of the business
Yeah.
and the industry. So I appreciate it. Like, girl, we didn't expect this conversation to go this route, but this is what I wanted to discuss
It
too.
obviously needed to. Hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna go with it. I'm by day, I'm in recruiting, so I see it, and a lot of people are afraid to talk about this. They're afraid to self-identify on those applications to say they have, you know, an illness. And I was one of them. And sometimes I still am, where I'll hold back until I'm hired and then say, okay, by the way, I need to go and amend this. Not that I need to hide it from you, but until I'm hired, it was none of your business. Like, I don't work for you. But then you learn as you're face to face with it, that they don't even think about the things like a handrail in a regular stall for a person who may have a joint issue. They only think about wheelchairs, but a person who has to pull themselves up after they've been sitting all day could benefit from a handrail. I say that a lot. Copious amounts of stairs where they're not needed. Where's the elevator? Things that people don't think about in planning because they look at the aesthetics of it all. Here I am with a massager on the back of my chair because I get tense, and it gets bad, like straight down my spine. But that's something that some employers don't consider, that are a part of that's how I function from day to day. That's how I become the workhorse, is I have to make my own, amendments to what I'm using, and hopefully still be successful with what I'm doing for the day. So I'm glad we talked about it. I'm
I
glad.
am too, because it's part of what this podcast was created for, was to inspire people and motivate people, educate them on the fact that you can stop hiding and start thriving in all aspects of your life, career,
Hmm.
business, and health. So when we look at the career area, just know there are rights that you have. On top of that, it is possible for you to fulfill your goals as far as your career with some adjustments. And obviously, Keisha has made some amazing adjustments. I have too. I have a sit stand desk. I also have a chair that my company supplied me. In fact, they supplied me the sit stand desk. They supplied me a multiple chairs until the right one was available that was actually comfortable and suitable for my condition. So just check with your company. Sometimes you have the opportunity to get access to things that you don't have to pay for, because I had bought like three chairs that were very expensive previously,
Oof.
only to find out, and desk and things, only to find out that my company actually offered this option as long as you actually had a diagnosis of a illness that required it, and that you got the paperwork completed by your doctor. So for all of my inflamed sisters thriving and chronic illness warriors, please know your rights. Check with your company, check with their HR. Many of them have ergonomic departments as well,
Hmm.
and other types of departments that will help you to not train you on ways that you can learn how to improve and reduce your risk of not being able to be comfortable doing work, or harming or hurting yourself further by not being positioned appropriately while working. I was happy that they at least supplied me that, and then that they give me the ability to be able to manage my health and not be concerned about how much time I'm away from work. We're more a job industry should be more concerned about how much a person is producing than how much time they're actually there, because our productive hours are often very are less than the hours than we really work, to be honest with you. Most of us are we can get a lot done in the 2 or 3 hour spurt of time that we actually have the most energy than we do in the full 8 hours. I was someone who could in 1 hour walk circles around somebody who works 8 hours. Still am. So the point is, just toot toot beep beep my own horn. But I'm joking.
As you should, as you should.
And this is how we become VPs, y'all. Keisha
That's
is
how we
a
do it.
VP at a major, okay, financial institution.
That's why I like
I,
to call it an institution.
yes, an institution. And I am an associate director and a corporate nurse, which associate director there, as well as a coach who has a business, multiple businesses. And my dear sis over here is also a bodybuilder. Okay. So we're doing the thing with multiple chronic illnesses because guess what? Inflamed sisters thrive, y'all, together like we are right here.
Yes.
So I would love for you to tell the people where can we find you and what else do you have going on?
Find me on Instagram because my TikTok, I don't know how to do those just yet. But either one, it's Love My Black, LUVMYBLAQUE. And what's coming next? I'm going back on stage, y'all. I can't be trusted around these cheesecakes and pancakes. So that's what's happening.
Or candy either.
Oh,
That's what I
candy.
heard. The word on
Yeah.
the street.
Word on the street
Wait,
is I get a cavity after every show on the same
she
tooth.
said, because, well, we know you deprived yourself for so long to perfect that body. And y'all go to her page because you will see a perfect and a beautiful specimen of a
Thank you.
queen. I mean, a beautiful, love my black. Yes, this black queen is so amazingly gorgeous. And what she formed her body into, sis, yes, you can't let that go. You got to keep that up, okay? Because I
Thank
know
you.
Mr. Williams is quite happy over there, okay?
I should ask it. We sure should. I think
Yeah.
he's pretty happy with it though.
Yes. No, I don't even, we don't have to ask. I know Mr. Williams is happy, so let's keep him happy, okay? Because and you've been married how long now?
I've been married for 6 years. I've been with this man for like 15.
Oh, see, okay, so yeah, he don't like it, baby. He loves it. Okay, he loves it. And congratulations on a
Thank
long
you.
relationship and a having a spouse that has supported you through chronic illness. That's right there is the definition of love, in sickness and health,
Yeah,
defined and demonstrated. All
yeah.
right, well. You're going to find her on Instagram. I'll also provide some additional details for you in the show notes as well for you to access. And I appreciate you so much, Keisha. I'm not
Thank
LaKeasha,
you.
y'all. You better get it right
No,
as Keisha.
we're
She
family
said,
now.
yes. I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to meet you. I hope to have continued opportunities like these because we do have other topics that we need to discuss. But
Yes.
y'all come on back for the next time. This was an amazing discussion. Once again, I want to tell all of you we may be inflamed, but guess what? We're still here. And as long as we're here, we are going to thrive together because inflamed sisters thrive together always. Have a wonderful day,
Yes.
everybody. Take care. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.